Hi there. Welcome back to the channel. Have you ever frozen in a business meeting because you didn't know how to say something in English? Or maybe you knew what you wanted to say, but your brain just blanked? Don't worry, you're not alone. In today's video, you'll hear a real conversation between Rafael, a Brazilian sales professional, and his supportive coworker, Carla. Through their talk, you'll discover simple, powerful tips to help you speak English more confidently at work, without memorizing scripts or translating in your head. If you struggle with business English, this video is for you. All right, let's jump into the conversation.
Hey, you okay? You look a bit down.
Oh, hi. Yeah, I mean, not really. I'm just frustrated with myself.
I'm sorry to hear that. What happened?
It's about the meeting this morning. I kind of embarrassed myself.
The sales meeting? I noticed you were very quiet, but I didn't see you do anything embarrassing.
Exactly. I barely said a word. When I tried to speak, I got so nervous that I couldn't get the words out in English. Everyone was looking at me, waiting, and nothing came out. I felt like an idiot.
Oh, I'm sure it wasn't as bad as you think. We all have moments like that. I've been there myself. But please don't call yourself an idiot. You're learning, and that's nothing to be ashamed of.
I know, but I feel like everyone else speaks English so well, especially in these international meetings. And here I am, a sales professional who can't even express himself clearly. It's so embarrassing.
Listen, your English is actually pretty good. I mean it. I've talked with you one-on-one, and you communicate well. I think it's just the pressure in the meeting that gets to you. Real-time conversations are tough. You're not alone. Many people feel this way. What do you think makes it so hard for you in the moment?
Well, one thing is, I keep translating in my head. Someone asks a question, and I automatically think of the answer in Portuguese first. Then I try to translate it into English, but by the time I have the sentence, the conversation has already moved on, or I start panicking.
That makes sense. Thinking in your native language first is a habit that's hard to break.
Yeah. Also, I try to memorize what I'm going to say. Like, for the sales report, I wrote out every sentence I wanted to say and memorized it. It took me hours. But when people started discussing and asking questions I didn't expect, I panicked because it wasn't part of the blah, blah, blah I practiced.
I see. So when the meeting went off script, you felt lost.
Exactly. And because I was so afraid of saying something wrong, I just avoided speaking after that. I kind of hid. I avoided eye contact and tried to look busy with my notes, hoping no one would ask me anything else.
I understand. I've noticed that sometimes you stay quiet even when it looks like you have something to say. I get why. You don't want to mess up.
Right. I thought if I didn't speak, I couldn't make it worse. But then I felt terrible for not participating. It's like I'm sabotaging myself.
It's okay. Recognizing these habits is a great first step. So you see a few things holding you back: translating in your head, over-memorizing, and avoiding speaking up.
Yeah, I realize those aren't working at all, but what can I do instead? I feel kind of stuck.
We can try changing those habits one by one. There are a few strategies that might help.
I'm willing to try anything. I really want to improve.
Great. First, about translating in your head. Try to start thinking in English as much as possible.
Thinking in English? How do I do that when I'm so used to Portuguese?
It takes practice, but it can be done. Start small. For example, when you're alone, narrate what you're doing in English. In the morning, you can think, I am making coffee. Now I will toast some bread. It might sound silly, but it helps you get used to forming thoughts in English without translating.
Talk to myself in English? That does sound a bit silly.
I know it feels funny, but trust me, a lot of people do this. Sometimes I even talk to my cat in English when no one's around. She doesn't correct my accent, at least. The point is, you don't have to do it loudly if you feel weird. You can even just do it in your head. I often think to myself in English like, what do I need from the store? Milk, bread, eggs. Over time, it becomes more natural to think in English.
Okay, I can try that. Maybe in the car, I can speak my thoughts out loud since I'm alone.
Perfect. The car is great for that. I do it too when I'm driving. Other drivers probably think I'm singing along to music or talking on the phone, but who cares, right? The more you train your brain to go straight to English, the easier it'll be to respond quickly in conversations.
Got it. I'll try to think in English more instead of translating from Portuguese. What about the memorizing issue? I thought writing down exactly what to say would help me be prepared.
It's good to prepare, but memorizing full sentences for a meeting can actually cause problems, as you experienced. Instead of memorizing exact sentences, try preparing a few key phrases or ideas.
Key phrases.
Yes, like useful building blocks. For example, if you're presenting a sales report, you can prepare a phrase like, "This quarter, our sales increased by blah, blah, blah," or "One challenge we faced was blah, blah, blah." Fill in the blank with your details during the meeting. Phrases like these give you a comfortable starting point.
That makes sense. I had a full script in my head, but when someone asked a different question, my script didn't help.
Exactly. With flexible phrases, you can adapt to the situation. Also, prepare for a couple of possible questions. Think of 2 or 3 questions people might ask about your report and practice how you'd answer them in English.
So I should prepare an outline or key points instead of a word-for-word script.
Right. That way you're prepared but still flexible. You won't feel so thrown off if the discussion changes.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll think of likely questions beforehand and how to answer them.
Good. Now, about avoiding speaking up. This one is tough, I know. But the more you speak, the easier it gets. Speaking is like a muscle you have to exercise.
I guess by staying quiet, I'm not exercising that muscle at all. I was hoping I'd improve without actually speaking, which sounds silly now.
It's not silly, it's normal. We all like to stay in our comfort zone. But we only grow when we step out of it a little.
You're right. I need to push myself to speak more, even if I'm afraid.
Exactly. Maybe start small in the next meeting. Plan to say at least one thing, even if it's just a simple comment or question.
Honestly, that idea scares me, but it also makes sense. I could prepare something small to say, like, "I agree with that because blah, blah, blah." Or I could ask a question for clarification.
That's a great plan. Even saying, "Could you repeat that, please?" Or, "I think that's a good point because blah, blah, blah will get you talking." The more you do it, the less scary it becomes.
Okay, I'll try to do that.
And remember, it's really okay to make mistakes. You don't have to be perfect.
That's hard for me. I really hate the idea of saying something wrong in front of everyone.
I understand. But everyone makes mistakes when they're learning a language. No one speaks perfectly right away. For example, Mark in marketing is from Germany, and his English is excellent. But even he sometimes uses the wrong word or pronunciation. Does anyone laugh at him or think he's stupid? Of course not. We all still understand him and appreciate what he's saying.
That's true. I've noticed he sometimes asks, "How do you say," in meetings. People help him with a word and move on. It's not a big deal.
Exactly. People actually admire you for speaking a second language because they know it's not easy. It shows you're making an effort. And honestly, folks care more about understanding your ideas than about perfect grammar or accent.
I guess I'm much more critical of myself than I am of others.
We all tend to judge ourselves more harshly than others. Try not to be so hard on yourself. If you say something wrong, it's okay to laugh it off. You can say, "Haha, that didn't sound right. Let me try that again." Trust me, no one will think less of you. In fact, they'll appreciate that you want to correct yourself.
I worry that clients or our bosses will judge me for my English.
I get that fear. But as long as they can understand you and you know your stuff, they're not going to judge you harshly. They'd rather hear your ideas, even if your English isn't perfect, than not hear from you at all. And every time you speak up despite a mistake, you become a bit more confident the next time.
That makes sense. I need to accept that mistakes are just part of the process.
Absolutely. Each mistake is a chance to learn. So don't be afraid of them, okay?
I'll try. Hearing all this, I realize I've been way too hard on myself.
I'm glad you're seeing that. Be kind to yourself. You're doing something challenging, using a second language at work. That takes courage.
When you put it that way, yeah. I forget that sometimes. I just focus on what I'm doing wrong.
Exactly. Give yourself some credit. And with practice, you'll only get better from here.
So, let's recap. I should try thinking in English, not memorizing every word, speak up more even if I'm nervous, and not worry so much about mistakes.
That's right. I'd add one more. Practice speaking regularly out loud.
You mean like talking to myself, like we said?
Yes. Talk to yourself, read a short article out loud, or even sing along to an English song. The point is to get used to speaking English often. For example, when you're watching a show or listening to a podcast, you can pause it and repeat a sentence out loud. It might feel odd at first, but it really helps.
I do listen to English podcasts, but I usually just listen quietly.
Next time, try speaking along with the podcast. Pause after a sentence and repeat it. It'll help your pronunciation and make you more comfortable speaking.
Okay, I'll do that. And maybe I can practice with you sometime if you don't mind.
Of course, we can chat in English over lunch or something. I'd be happy to help.
Really, that would be awesome. Maybe before the next big meeting, we can do a practice run.
Definitely. We can practice the meeting a bit beforehand.
I already feel a lot more hopeful and less alone with this.
I'm really glad. Remember, it's a journey. You won't wake up tomorrow completely fluent and confident, but step by step, you'll get there.
Yeah, I can see that if I follow these steps, it'll get better. Actually, let me try one right now.
Sure,
I am sitting in the break room talking with my friend about work.
that was a great sentence. And all in English.
Right. Small victories. It actually feels good to say it out loud.
Good. Keep doing that. Every little bit of practice helps.
I will, and thank you for taking the time to help me. I feel much better now and a lot more confident that I can improve.
I'm so happy to hear that. You see, you can definitely do this.
Thanks, that means a lot.
You're welcome. And hey, you've got this.
What did you think of Raphael and Carla's conversation? Did you hear a tip that you want to try in your next meeting? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your thoughts. And if this video helped you, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who's learning English too. Remember, you don't need perfect English to speak with confidence. Think in English, speak in full sentences, and keep practicing. You've got this. See you in the next video.